Yeah, my feet made it, like, they were filthy, but I made it out with only a blister right on the side of my foot and then one on the tip of this toe and possibly under this toenail. I think that one's going to go. So, back to 7 toenails.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 23 of the On the Runs podcast. We are coming to you again in person from Erika's house. I love it when we record here, and I love it when we're just laying back on the couch. I am looking at this display of your books and your DVDs, and on the top there is a piece of wood from a tree, and it's got an anchor on it, and it says Anchordown Ultra. What is that?
I won a pretty sweet award this weekend.
Oh, man. I want to get to that. Mm-hmm. This is going to be our Anchordown Ultra Marathon Special Edition episode. How's the sound of that?
I am more than happy to talk about this because this has quickly become one of my favorite races. I'm going to look forward to this every year.
Every year, whether we run it
or volunteer.
That's right, because I think we made that promise. We have so much fun. We've been there 2 years in a row now. If we're not racing, we're going to be there in one form or another, helping out, because guys like Jay, who put on that race, they're awesome. And they put in so much effort, and I feel like they got a small crew for the event they put on. It was fantastic, and I really want to get into it.
Yes.
We have 2 awesome guests today. We're going to have Katie and Callie on. Katie and Callie both just did the Anchordown. We know Katie. She's from around here. She's local. She's a New Hampshire local running influencer, something like that I'm going to call her. Callie, we met last year at the race. She was your fierce competition.
She was my fierce competition.
That's right. She beat you, too.
She kicked my butt.
And they both did awesome. They both got pretty great little stories to share. Tell us about the race. So let's get into it. Why don't we tell everyone real quick before we get to them, what is the Anchordown Ultra?
All right. The Anchordown Ultra, it's a race in Bristol, Rhode Island at Colt State Park. And it has a 6-hour, a 12-hour, and a 24-hour race. So you get to choose your level of
craziness.
Yep. And this year I went for the 12 again. And again, it was another amazing experience.
Maybe another learning experience as well, just like last year. I think that could be the case for everybody.
Oh, always. There's always something to learn.
I think every ultra is just going to be a learning experience. And you take a few of your do's, and they either become don'ts or they become do's. Mm-hmm. And but man, what a fun event. This one was so much better than last year. And let me tell you why. The weather.
It was a complete 180 from last year. Last year we had like 95-degree heat, 100% humidity. I think we were figuring 70+% dew point. What's that make for a Beeman score?
I don't know. Let's just call it a 300, a max, Oof. A Beeman max.
Yeah, it maxed out for sure. But this year we had like 75 degrees, nice breeze, low humidity. It was the most gorgeous day I could think of.
I even wore my winter hat in the morning when I was getting ready to go at 5 a.m. with you.
It was chilly.
It was great.
Once I cooled off, I had a sweatshirt on.
It was the best running weather.
Right. We got a little rain, too. A little relief.
It did. That felt awesome. Mm-hmm. It did. That was early on in the race. I want to tell you something.
Yeah.
I watched the YouTube video.
You did. You finally did.
I did.
I've been trying to get you to watch that for weeks now.
For weeks. It's only been out for 10 days, according to YouTube.
But now you know about Chris Capolini.
I know about Chris. I know
about Paul Checkle. You know about
Lori and Hannah.
Hannah Littlefield. Fun fact about Hannah. She is the one who designed those awards that I took home.
Oh, yeah.
She did a fabulous job.
That's right, because I saw it on the back. And you told me it was Hannah, but my sister's Hannah, and she spells it the same way. So I thought it was Hannah.
Well, the way Jay was pronouncing it over the weekend, he kept saying Hannah.
So everyone listening to hear about the Anchordown Ultra, I highly suggest you go watch this quick 20-minute YouTube video. I think it was 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was
Maybe
very
it was
short.
50 minutes. No, it was 20.
I even have a cameo in there.
You do?
Me in my pink shirt and my bright socks.
Your outfit this year completely sucked.
180 from that, too.
It was the worst. Like, okay, so she's always wearing a sparkly shirt and colors. And we had Rachel on episode 17, and she's all about the outfit. And Rachel says, if I'm wearing all black, I'm in a bad mood. And I called you out before the race even started.
You know what? I did have so I wore a black shirt and I had a black sparkly skirt. And I'm like, oh, you'll see me just fine with the sparkles.
Wow.
I should have put on, I had a white tank top. I should have worn that.
It was like Scott when he did his Ironmans. He had the green helmet. I easily could find Scott and tell him where he was. And then he got a white helmet, just like everybody else. And you were wearing black. And this race was at nighttime.
Yeah.
You think I could see you?
I didn't have to worry about cars.
Oh my God. I needed you to wear something. I was so...
Hey, you found me. You found me every lap.
But I'm like, got the camera ready as you're in the distance. Like if you were wearing a bright color in the distance, I can be like, okay, there she is. Pull out the phone. Instead, I'm this guy in front of the start finish line with my camera. Nope, that's not her. Nope, that's not her. Oh, here. Nope, that's not her. Because you were just dark. You were this black running thing. Like you could have been
black running.
You could have been a deer.
I saw a deer.
Oh yeah,
I saw you that. I told you that.
Well, yeah, but the listeners just found out for the first time.
Fun fact: I also saw a bunny.
What?
It was a good day.
Anyways, you and Bugs Bunny out there were having a ton of fun. But I want to tell everyone before, check out this YouTube video. You get to hear about Chris, Paul, Lori, and Hannah. And it's really good. You also really get to learn about Jay, and I want to give Jay his due here. Jay has put on an amazing event 2 years in a row. What a cool guy! He also has a fantastic head of hair.
Oh,
Jay, you and I have a great head of hair, buddy. We got great head of hair. Jay was super cool. He was obviously very busy. I got to briefly say hi to him around the time the race ended.
Okay.
And I broke the ice with telling him how he yelled at you last year for standing on the picnic table. Oh, but he didn't really yell.
He said it, and I tried to. And he's like, no, don't do that.
The video popped up in memories the other day, and he didn't really yell at you. He just said, no, don't do that. And then he goes into the story about a couple years ago, they had them stand on it like a podium finish, and then all three people fell, and within 3 minutes, there were 3 ambulances and took them out of the hospital.
I'm very glad I did not end up in that situation. So,
Jay, you put on a great event as the race director. I know you said you weren't that great with social media, so I want to also thank you for having Patrick. Patrick, thank you for being there and sharing all our On the Runs content too. That was fantastic. Patrick, I want to tell you something, Erika, about Patrick.
Please.
Have you ever heard of the Pemi Loop?
It's around here. That's all I know.
It's up in the Franconia Notch area. It's a 30-mile hiking loop with about almost 10,000 feet of climbing.
Really?
People do it in about 18 hours. Jay did it in about, shout out to Jay there. He did it in about 12.
Okay.
Well, Patrick here, he's run it in under 6 hours.
Under 6?
And he has a goal of doing it in under 5.
Wow.
And I got to talk to him a little bit about that. So that would be pretty impressive. But yeah, the whole entire weekend was great. Handed out a bunch of stickers, met some amazing not support crew, but volunteers. We'll get into them. You know, looking at you, Juice Box Guy. So
Yay.
we finally got a little.
We got names. We got names. We actually took time to talk to them and thank them properly.
But I think we need to get to the episode. Let's bring on Katie and Callie. Let's hear their story. And then when we come back, let's hear how your race went.
Sounds good. Let's go.
All right, we're back here, and we got our two guests from the Anchordown Ultra. We have Katie and Callie. Katie and Callie, how are you?
I'm good. Feeling great.
Feeling great. It's been just a couple days since the 12-hour ultra marathon for you. This was your first Anchordown. And Callie, how you doing? I see you're on a Block Island eating some nice treats.
Yes, I'm fresh as a daisy. Not really. Just getting used to walking normally again, but feeling pretty good.
I feel like I'm in the same boat. It took a solid probably like 36 hours for me to be able to not hobble my way around the house.
I don't know about you two, but I am hobbling and I didn't even run. So, crew support over here is a little sore as well.
You did some running. I got to give you some credit.
So, Katie, this was, I think, your 5th ultra, but it was your first Anchordown, right?
It was my first Anchordown. It was my first overnight race. All of the races I've ever done in the past have always started bright, early in the morning, and I've just run. So it was a different experience for me for sure. But I truly did love every single second of it.
How did you decide to do Anchordown?
Actually, a few people had posted about it in the past, including Erika and one of your previous guests, Rachel, had talked about it. And I'm like, you know what? I need to get into that. And as soon as I knew it had opened and having had that 50 miler under my belt, I knew that I had a chance to get into it, having had that race behind me. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go for it. And I got in and I was pumped. So
That's perfect. Yeah, I found out about it from Rachel, and her and I both did it last year, and we got in before they implemented the qualifying standards. So that was my first real ultra that I had done. So I re-qualified for this year from last year.
yeah, and it truly was such an experience. I'm all about getting into the coveted races. So the faster it sells out, the faster I want to do it.
Right.
So I knew I needed to experience it.
I'm glad you did too. And this is such a good race. It's very like small and homey, and it's got like a family feel to it. So I'm very happy that you got to experience it.
So, Callie, we met you last year at Anchordown, and you did the 12-hour race, but this year you decided to jump up about double. What caused you to do the 24-hour race there?
I don't have a great answer for that. I remember walking to the parking lot with Erika last year, and she's going, "Are you going to come back next year?" And I'm pretty sure I said I would never do that again. It was awful, as we were both limping to our cars.
Definitely.
But yeah, for some reason I thought, you know what? Let me do 24 hours. I want to run 100 miles. And that's what I signed up for.
And to get a little background, the two of you have done ultras before.
Yes. My longest one was the 12-hour last year. So this was kind of a big jump for me, but I trained.
Spoiler alert, you did it. You hit your goal. So I am so impressed by that. Can't even tell you.
All right, well, let's get into the weekend. When did everybody arrive? I can tell you that Erika and I arrived as late as possible. Probably partly my fault with the new job and not wanting to leave work early, but also traffic was a pain in the butt. I think I saw one of you got there even the day before, and then Katie, when did you get there?
So I'm first and foremost, I'm the type of person that likes to get anywhere early. Even when it comes to the airport, I'd rather be there 4 hours early than right on close to time. So I got there right around 3:30. So about 3.5 hours or so right before we had to toe the line. But that was still too close for me. But same, we hit traffic and work obligations kept us at home a little bit longer than we wanted. But besides a little bit of traffic, once we got there, the setup was easy. The parking situation was great. Park, get all your stuff. I definitely think in the future, I am going to have a wagon to help carry all of my stuff to the lot, just because it was a lot of back and forth. And thankfully, my husband was there and he did a lot of the lugging and let me sit and eat and consume water. So that was a huge win, but I did feel guilty having him do all the lugging. But so, yep, I got there right around 3:30 and had a solid 3 hours of, dare I say, relaxing before we had to start running.
How about you, Callie? When did you arrive?
So I actually drove up Wednesday. I have family that live right in town. So I spent some time with my parents and my brother and his wife. So much of these long things are mental. And when you have 3 kids that are crazy and work and everything, it's like, if I can get out there a little early, then great, because I can kind of decompress a little and relax. So then Friday, my crew and I showed up right around 2 to set up. And then we went over to my brother's house and I took a power nap on the couch. And we came back around, I think, 4:35 maybe, and then hung out till the start.
Yeah, I was very nervous about getting there on time. I took the whole day off of work and I was just like, all right, Eric, when can you come? When can we leave? When can we leave? And then you're like, well, I have a meeting and it's at 2. And I'm like, no. So I had to wait. I got my boyfriend to drive me down to his work, and then we left from there since it was more on the way than coming back up to my house. But just anxious to get down there, anxious to get started and set up and all that stuff.
With about 30 minutes until we arrived, I started playing some good hardcore EDM music, pumped it up to max volume.
I needed it. I had all this extra energy and I was like, all right, I got to burn this off somehow or else I'm going to go insane. Just sitting in a car waiting. So we had some, what was it? Little John, Out of Your Mind.
We played, that's right, because Addie Zarenner, one of our guests, that was her pump up song. And that one really like broke the ice for you and got you ready to go.
Mm-hmm. It was helping.
All right. So everyone's at Colt State Park in Rhode Island. Mm-hmm. The course is this 2.45 mile loop, partly in the woods, partly along the coast there, along the water. And the race starts at 7:00. What was it like starting at nighttime?
It was tough. Well, no, it was awesome because it was a new experience for me. So like I said, I am an early morning runner. So my alarm goes off at 3 a.m. I'm out the door by 3:15, 3:20, and I'll run 20-ish miles, before the world wakes up. So starting my run, I really had to focus on what I ate during the day, a lot more than obviously preparing my meals for the morning and then snacking throughout my run. But it was cool. I think the best part was, the first 2 loops, you got to catch the sunset, which was just absolutely incredible, coming out of the trail and then running down, that one little road and just seeing the sunset was the best part about starting at 7 p.m. And the energy was just so great. Everyone was just so excited and hyped up, and the energy is what got you through those first few loops because it was just awesome.
I totally agree. The sky put on quite the show this year. It was a spectacular sunset.
This one was good. I tried to get some pictures of all 3 of you with that epic sunset in the background. If I haven't sent it to you, I'll try to do it. But I took a ton of photos. How about you, Callie? 7 p.m. start. This wasn't your first 7 p.m. start, but how was the late start?
Yeah, my first 7 p.m. start was last year here. The only difference is I knew last year once the sun came up, I was done. That was it for me. So I honestly felt like the hardest part of the evening start is like getting through the day. I think so much of us are used to, if you're going to do any kind of race, you get out of bed, you get ready and you go right there early in the morning. So a lot of it's just that waiting. And then, your adrenaline and caffeine and whatever else can kind of power you through the night and I guess most of the day. But, it's just a different start.
Callie, do you know what was impressive was your waist light?
I got so many comments on that light. They were telling me it looked like a truck coming. I had randomly found that light on the internet and I kept looking at it. And finally I just pulled the trigger on it. It arrived maybe 2 weeks before the race. So I experimented with how to wear it on an easy run in the daytime, but I never actually got to where I was able to test the light. So I was like, well, hope this works. I brought backup and it was so bright, but you can adjust it. It has so many different adjustments, but I didn't actually think to look at how to adjust it. So it was just like my high beams were on all night.
It was bright. And spoiler alert, next week, when our next episode drops, we're going to have Michaela, who we already recorded. But Michaela gave Erika a list of do's and don'ts, and her do was get a waist light. And it was too short notice for Erika to go out and get one because this was less than a week before the race. And I'm looking around and I'm like, 2 or 3 other people had one, but yours was, you're right. It was like high beams on a tractor trailer, super wide view. It had so much coverage. It was like, I can't run with a headlamp on.
Well, I can't either. That's why I bought the hand lamp. I
can't even run holding things in my hand. I think it's weird. If I have something in my left hand, I need something in my right hand. That waist light was genius. I was like, that was so smart of Michaela. And then Callie had it. It was like, of course, this experienced ultra runner, in my mind, experienced. I don't know how many you've really done, but in considering it really was your only second night race, like that thing was sick.
I mean, I do run in the dark often, but I'm typically a chest light kind of person. I don't like headlamps. I don't like handhelds, but I have a chest light I really like, and I wore that last year, and I have scars from the chafing.
Oh, no.
So I am not wearing a chest light like that ever again in the heat in the summer. Because, usually nighttime running, or dark running, it's winter, right? So I wasn't used to having that light on bare skin, and it just ripped up my back. So I had to find another idea for this year.
That's why I did not wear my Camelback, like my hydration vest this year. I went with like a handheld water bottle and a handheld flashlight because I got a wicked chafing patch and I was like, not again. At least this year we didn't have to deal with all that humidity and heat. We had perfect weather for this.
The weather was definitely night and day. You know, last year I think the dew point was 74, which is, you know, you look at running charts of dew points and it's like, do not run.
Yep.
And we're like, yeah, let's run over 50 miles. It's fine. Overnight.
Great idea.
Not to mention it was like 100 degrees and 100% humidity too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right. So Katie, tell us how your race went.
It went good. So I think literally probably the first 5 or 6 laps went pretty well. But I did, and I was very jealous of everyone with better lights than mine because my headlamp completely quit on me. And so I wore a headlamp around my waist as well. So I had one on my head, one around my waist, and then I had a flashlight. But none of them were doing anything worthwhile. And having never run trails before, full disclosure, I should have practiced a little bit more. So I wasn't as, what's the word I'm looking for, graceful through the trail portion at all. And I totally took 2 big diggers.
All right. So Katie, there is a point in the race. I'm with your husband. We're in the transition, the start finish line area with the aid station. And you would come back about always 5 to 10 minutes after Erika. So we would see Erika and then you would come in right after. And this one time you're like, I fell. And you pulled your part of your pants up and revealed to us your hip. And then you went and did another lap and you pulled it up and your hip was twice the size of than it was the lap before.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it was right around lap 4. It was dark, so it was headlamp territory. I had stopped. I had asked Mike for the handheld flashlight because despite wearing a headlamp and a headlamp around my chest and the flashlight, I clearly could not see anything at all. And I had kept on running like through the trails, like, oh, I can do this. This is great. And then I fell hard. Like I don't remember. All I remember is being on the ground. My headlamp flew off, was in one direction. The flashlight went flying. And one of the runners had stopped. He's like, you doing okay? Is everything okay? That looked like it hurt. I'm like, I'm fine. And I was shaken up for sure. He handed me my flashlight. I put the headlamp back on and decided to keep on running. Like even the girl who saw me fall, she's like, maybe you should start walking. I'm like, I don't need to, I don't need to walk. And so I had gone ahead and the guy who had picked up my headlamp and flashlight, he had run ahead. That was fine. But the girl was walking. And then about 3/4 of the way through the trail, I fell again and no one was there to see it. I'm like, did that just happen?
Oh, no.
Like, did I really just fall again? And I think my ego was bruised a little bit. And then so when I came through, I was covered in dirt. Like the whole left-hand side of my body was just all like dust and dirt from the fall. But I hadn't really realized the severity of the bruise until like daylight. But I knew it was bad. And it was out. Like it was a good large lump. Like it was a solid, I want to say almost grapefruit sticking out of my shorts.
Oh no.
Bruise material. But yeah, I came through and you and Mike were standing there and I'm like, this is bad. And I lifted up my shorts and sure enough, it was pretty big.
It was this big purple, juicy looking grapefruit just attached to her hip.
Oh no.
Most immediate. Like most people bruise and it progresses over like hours. No, mine was like, oh, let's just be lovely right away. So yep, it was there. And it was it was bad, but that definitely slowed down the trail portion. After my second fall, I was like, you know what, maybe I should start walking. And I became very envious of everyone who was capable of running so gracefully over the routes. And I was like, you know what, I don't want to fall again. I wanted to finish. Like there was no question of mind. Like I wasn't going to let a fall stop me. But it was pretty big. I was just so glad that like nothing required stitches or anything else. So
yeah, that trail section was just, I keep telling him, I use the word gnarly because it is just full, like it's more technical than you really think it is. And there were times I I hit an invisible root at one point and I almost went headfirst into a tree. And that was like a close call for me. But there were just certain sections that I knew I had to walk. Like the hill, there is, do you remember there was that one section of just constant roots? I was like, nope, I'm walking over these. I had my toes pointed up so I wouldn't get stuck underneath. And there were a couple other like sharp turns that I almost went flying off of those. So, I mean, yeah, it definitely took some time to walk that. I don't know how to say that nicely, but it was just very difficult to navigate.
You had to walk it carefully.
Difficult to navigate. There we go. It was gnarly, just gnarly.
Yeah.
And how do you feel now?
I feel great. I know, and it sounds so ridiculous, but I ran the next day. I have a run streak to keep alive, so even if I have to get out there for a mile, I'm determined. So got out for 2 miles on Sunday, and my legs felt really, really strong. Got out there again this morning. The only thing that hurts when I run is like I can actually feel the bruise, which sounds, but I can feel it like that. It just throbs when I run. But other than that, I feel great. So other than that, it went really well. And then right around like lap 12 or 13, I'm like, I could really use company. And, the trails really thinned out after the 6-hour racers had left the course. So the woods were a little bit darker. There weren't as many people out on the pavement. So, I really wanted someone to talk to. My headphones didn't want to work, so I didn't have music. And I almost felt bad playing it because I didn't want to distract the other runners by just letting my music go. So it was just me in the woods and the pavement, and it was good. I definitely lost my motivation. My legs felt great, but I knew I mentally needed the company. So my husband, who was a pacer and he is a non-runner, was like, you know what? I think I'll join you. And then he did one lap. I'm like, you want to do another one? He's like, sure. And I was like, I don't want to do any more without you. So he actually ran 10 miles with me to help me get my 16 laps. And so then he was like, okay, I'm done. But the sun hadn't come up yet. It was only about 4:00 in the morning when I hit my 16 laps. And so I was like, maybe I'll take a little break because I hadn't taken any breaks at that point, and go and get some ramen noodles and sit down for a second. And that was it. I sat down. I was like, dang it, I should not have sat down. But once I did, I was like, oh, I'm very mad at myself for not going out for that one more lap, which I truly wish I had done. It would have made all of a 2.5 mile difference. But overall, I'm pumped. Do I want to do it again? If you had asked me Saturday morning, I'm like, ee! But now that I'm 2 days out and actually feeling pretty good, I was like, I think I might do it again. Just practice trails more often, get a better handle on roots, stumps, rocks, etc. But I loved it. And Erika was right when I got talking to her about it before the race. It was an incredible environment. Volunteers were just awesome. The aid stations were amazing. Everyone just pumped you up along the way and, made you feel like $1 million. No matter where you were in your loops, they made you feel so incredibly special. Every time you went, through the start, every single lap, they made you feel awesome. So overall, I think it went really well. I'm pretty happy. And, I got to meet some pretty awesome people along the way too.
I'm so glad. I'm really glad you enjoyed your experience, and I really hope you come back for another one because I feel like once you're in, your family, you got to keep coming back. I mean, if possible. So, and since you mentioned it, the volunteers, I got to give a big shout out, not only to your husband, Mike, because he was just awesome. He would give me high fives every time I would go by, just cheering everybody on as they went by. He was huge for you. So big shout out to Mike. But also, I got to shout out a few of my new friends from the aid stations. So Ainsley, Zach, and Tammy, they were like the 1 a.m. to 9 a.m. crew, and they just gave me so much support and juice boxes, and they were just so fantastic. And among all the other volunteers, everybody was just epic. So
we'll have to get a little more into Juice Box Guy later, maybe.
Yeah. I got to say, he was the one from last year. He was hooking me up with juice boxes, and I was like, I love you. You're fantastic. I needed this juice. And I asked him this year, I'm like, what are the odds you were here last year volunteering? He's like, I was actually. And I'm like, I feel like it was you. It had to be you. But either way, they were just so supportive and enthusiastic. And you could just feel the energy coming off of them, like off of a night shift of volunteering. Like, so awesome.
And that's a tough shift, 1 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's not an easy shift.
No, it was 9 a.m. They had a couple extra hours. That was an 8-hour shift for them. Long morning, though. That was nuts.
Well, Juice Box Guy, we're happy we found you because last
Yay.
year Erika was pretty upset that we didn't figure out who you were
I
after.
didn't ask any names. I felt like such a jerk. I don't know.
You were so nervous, Callie. I want to share this. She was so nervous. Because we didn't know you last year until after the race. We just saw you going, and I met your friend Kelly. So
Yes.
we didn't know who you were, and she wanted to connect with you. She is Erika, and she was so nervous. I'm just like, go ask her.
Oh yeah, because you had your Peloton thing on. And
No, yeah. She said, you have a Peloton bra on. I like Peloton too. What's your name on Peloton?
I broke the ice, right?
Numbers at a bar.
And it was. I hope you don't mind if I say it. If not, I'll bleep it out. But it was Cat Collector,
Yeah.
which I thought was hilarious. Like you just collect cats, like you're a cat lady, crazy cat lady. But then you responded to us one day after our second episode. You go, I'm not a crazy cat lady. I only have 2 cats.
I have 2
Three.
also.
I have 3.
Ooh,
3 cats, 3 kids.
perfect numbers.
1 cat per kid. By the way, she's also in a very exclusive club that I'm in, the Twin Club.
Oh yes, I remember you guys bonded off of that. Oh wait, you
Right,
didn't have them at that point.
No,
Yes,
I
you
did. Yeah, I did. They were
Oh, yeah.
6 months old
Yeah.
last
Oh,
year.
that's right. I'm like, how old are your kids? I should know this.
Yeah, they were babies. Now I have 4-year-old twins and a 5-year-old, all girls.
Oh wow.
Oh man.
And last year when I came home, they said, "Mommy, is that even a real trophy?" So they weren't very kind.
Oh man, that's cute. Yes, it is, kids.
I don't mean to go backwards, but I have to give a shout out to those volunteers too.
Please.
I was terrible. I didn't catch names, but there was one in particular who he would like spray me down every time I came in, and was also legit helping, looking at me, going, "Hey, Callie, this lap you're looking a little bit more pale than last one. Can you try to grab something with some sugar in it?" Obviously I had a fantastic crew too, but those volunteers really went above and beyond to try to get you as far and keep you as well as you could be, and then I had a nice woman shoving ice packs up the back of my bra. I got pictures of one just dumping water on me. They were just amazing. Absolutely amazing.
They deserve all the praise. They really do.
Your support crew. So you had Kelly, who we met last year, and she came back during the day. But at night you had Michelle, and I met Michelle. She was pretty great. You want to talk about your crew who came in, to help you with the race?
Sure, yeah. Overnight I had Michelle and Doug, and they were kind of taking turns so one of them could get some sleep because they were going to be there during the day too. And they're 2 fellow trail runners that I know from Syracuse, and we all recently, Kelly included, took a trip to Zion, Utah to support Doug in his first 100-miler. So we've worked as a team once before, so I had really high hopes, and obviously I know that they're amazing. All 3 of those runners are runners that I look up to and I'm always blown away by. So I felt like I definitely had, a team with me there, and they're just fantastic people, very smart, strong runners. They were awesome. But I hope you understand that despite me being 99% trail runner, I still fell 3 times during Anchordown.
Did you?
It's not, it's not a trail run if you don't fall at least once.
Well, let's get into that because 7 a.m. rolls around. The race ends for Erika and Katie, and we packed up our tent, but your friend Kelly showed up, and you kept going, and you had 12 more hours. So if you fell before then, tell us about it. But tell us how the second half went, and where were you at the halfway point?
Yeah, I mean, my falls were during the night, but they were soft landings. You get tired, you let your guard down a little bit. All you have to do is flip your toe a tiny little bit, and you're on the ground. And you just got to get up and keep going, What I tried to do during the night is I tried to keep it at a very sustainable pace. I know last year I went out too hot. And it made me suffer a little more in the end there. So I tried really hard to kind of keep it under control. I promised myself when I came to that one little climb in the trail system that I would hike that climb every time. And I did, even lap one. And everyone's sprinting by me, you know, and it's like, that's just not going to do me any favors to run up this hill ever tonight, you know?
Good for you.
Yeah, so I tried to stick with that plan and just keep a sustainable pace. And my hope was that by the time Kelly arrived the next morning, is I'd make her proud by how far I made it. I did end up surpassing where I ended last year on the 12 hours. So I was well above 50 miles at that point, which made me feel a little better because the task of the day seemed a little less daunting at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly arriving was like a breath of fresh air. You know, all of a sudden you get your person and it's just like a renewal.
Mm-hmm.
You get your wind, get your support system there a bit. And I thought, you know, things went pretty good. Around mile 80, I came in, you know, almost in tears. I was like, this is really hard, you know, and it's just suddenly 20 miles seems impossible, even though you just did 80. And then another really tough moment was when we realized we had 7.5 hours left. You know, when you look at the 24-hour race, you're like, all right, 24 hours. And then all of a sudden you're in it and you're like, I still have 7.5 hours? This is insane.
That is crazy.
You know? And thankfully, you know, it wasn't nearly as hot as it was last year. So we really lucked out with that. But I still, you know, I struggle in the heat. So I tried really hard to keep cool. I had, you know, a long sleeve shirt on that has the UV protection in it. I had water dumped on me nonstop. I tried really hard to not let that heat get to me too bad. And then about 3/4 of the way through, I think I had another wind where we picked it up. And of course, Jay and everyone cheered me on, and they really are gunning for me to break the course record, which would have been 2 laps more than what I ended up doing. But I was on pace for that at that time. And I realized I needed about 8 more 30 to 35 minute laps. And I'm like, all right, let's do this. And then 2-3 into that, my body was like, no, you're not.
Oh.
So I had to make a decision. Like, do I push myself really hard and risk, you know, going away via ambulance like other runners have and not even making it to 100? Or do I just chill out, take my time and have fun and enjoy just wrapping up this 100-miler, you know?
Mm-hmm. Were there any anybody who needed to take an ambulance this year?
No.
Another year. That is so good. Jay must have been excited.
Yeah, at the end, I asked Lori how Paul's ankle was because Paul had rolled his ankle.
Oh, no.
Pretty bad. And she goes, oh, we're going to go get it checked out. We'll go to urgent care. We're not going to take an ambulance. And I was like, oh, well, do you want a foot doctor? And just like sent my husband over to go look at him. No, he was all good. He did end up getting some x-rays for another reason, I think the next day, and had his ankle checked out too. And it was all good. So,
oh, wow. But I did see Paul hit 100. So he checked off his goal too.
He did. He did. But yeah, I think sometimes just you get to a point where your body says no more. You know, I really struggled with food eating for the last bunch of hours. I just didn't feel good. Nothing felt or looked good. So, and you know, if you can't eat something like that, you can't run. You need the calories.
So what was your nutrition plan like then? What were you trying to eat and what were you able to get down? And were you eating mostly food you brought, or were you eating from that aid station where they had like the pizza party and all the chips and the gummy bears and the Coke, Mountain Dew, the Capri Sun juice boxes?
The pickles.
I really stuck with what worked for me in training and what worked for me last year. You know, an electrolyte drink, and that every other round I'd come through, I'd swap it out with water. And then I liked the spring energy gels, and I used one caffeinated gel every 3 hours. That all worked really well for me last year and through the year in training. For whatever reason, partway through this race, I was like, no more spring energy. I don't even want to look at it. And my other plan was PB&Js. I took one bite of one and I said, I don't want any more PB&J. It just was, even though it wasn't that dry out, it just, the PB&J was so dry for some reason and just unedible. So we kind of had to regroup from there. my amazing crew were kind of cooking up some food. So every time I came through, Doug would have a bowl with pierogies and potatoes and bacon. And he's like, just take something, take something.
Oh, wow.
I would take something, and a lot of times it was pierogies, and he realized that was working for me. So he'd be like, take a pierogi. And I go, oh, and everybody would start laughing. But, if you can't eat, you can't run. So I just had to kind of force it.
Mm-hmm. That was so tough to do. Like, eating was where I struggled a lot during the night, but enough about me. So we want to know, at what point did you know you were going to hit your goal, and how are you feeling? Like, what time was this at? Like, when you just knew you had it?
I don't know if I ever knew I had it. I mean, when I showed up Friday evening, I was panicking, like, why am I even here? I don't belong. I think some of that imposter syndrome kicks in when you arrive to these things, and you're like, I'm way over my head, even though you've trained for it. So the whole night, I really wasn't sure. And like, you just never know what's going to happen. I was really happy with how the night went, how far I had made it, and how good I felt. But also, 12 miles in, actually, I looked at Michelle. I go, why do my legs already feel tired? When I came through the aid station, she's like, fine, keep going. Okay.
Don't worry about it. Just go.
I couldn't tell you I ever knew I had it until the last lap, because things change so quickly. There was a period where I slowed down, and then there was a period where I really picked it back up again. Like, mile 92 was my second fastest mile of the 24 hours, which makes no sense.
Wow.
But I had another, surge where I was able to go for a few laps. And that's when I was really kind of pushing for that new record. And then when my body just revolted, it was, all right, we've got a ton of time to get to 100 comfortably. Let's just get that done. But my last 2 laps were excruciating. Like, my left calf and foot were really hurting. It sounds like it just kind of strained the calf. And, I don't know how you can feel really good after going 100 miles. So it wasn't that surprising, but there was definitely some suffering going on through that. So I just wanted to make it. But I didn't know I had it until I saw the finish line at that mileage.
Did Kelly run all 12 hours with you during the day?
Yes, she did.
That a girl, Kelly.
Wow.
Nice job. Did better than me.
And I told her, don't plan on it. You don't have to do that. She ended up going over like 45 plus miles with me. Like, she never left my side. She was amazing. I don't know if I could have done that without her. And then, she was such an asset when we would get out onto that pavement with that headwind.
Would you draft her?
Yeah. I go, why don't you just run 2 steps ahead of me? And she's like, great idea.
That's so smart.
All the hard work. But it was also great because I would kind of use the trail system to recover on. And then we'd pop out to the pavement, and it's like, all right, let's start running again. And it was just, like a well-oiled machine, the way I would just tuck right behind her, and we'd run the whole length of that.
A little shake and bake Ricky Bobby.
Yeah. That was huge.
Why didn't we think of that?
I don't know. I was just telling you, get off of the good part of the trail.
Well, that was
That's
the trail.
my part of the trail. I literally yelled at him a couple of times. Plus, he had like his headlamp in his left hand, and I was on his right side, and I'm like, it's shining in my face. I got to be on the other side of you. And we would just eventually I would meander my way over to the right again. I'm like, I'm on the wrong side. So it took a while to get a good place on there. But
as my arms were pumping every time on the stride, when my left arm would go up, the light would go right across her face, and she would it happened every time when we got out, because I don't know why I'm used to running on the left.
Yeah, you guys had a great system, though. That is incredible that Kelly did that for you.
Oh, that was so smart. Genius move. That's expert level. I want to say one thing before we continue. All 3 of you over this weekend told me at one point, Callie, you just told us now on the podcast, but that you felt like maybe you didn't belong, or you don't really feel like an ultra runner. However, Katie, you've done 5. This would be your 3rd or 4th, Erika.
It's my technical 3rd, but only my 2nd actual, because I did a virtual one, and I don't totally count that.
And Callie, I know at least it's 2 for you in the fact that you won both. You're all ultra runners, and you all belong there. and you went out there and you proved it. So I get the nerves before the race, like, and Erika would tell me at like 5:30 in the morning, she goes, I don't feel like an ultra runner. I don't feel like one. And I'm like, well, look at you. You're about to hit 50 miles and you're in an ultra race. You're an ultra runner. I was the one
wearing a sparkle skirt. Like,
that was it. That's right.
I didn't look like the traditional ultra runner. I think that was more the thing. Like, I've got myself a hefty badonkadonk, and like I don't have the build of a typical runner. So
that's right. She goes, I have a big ass and a sparkle skirt. Like, I'm not an ultra runner.
I'm the sparkliest ultra runner out there.
So you finished. What was it like at 7 p.m. when you finished? I know it gets dark like in an hour. And what happened post race? How did everything go?
Yeah, so I crossed the finish line and my family was there. So I just dove to them. We did hugs and tears, and that was really cool. Just a really cool, surreal moment. And then I went and quickly put my feet up and just sat there for a few minutes, trying to comprehend what just happened. And I did at that time know I was the top female. It was the only female that was hitting 100 miles that day, which I think they've had 3 prior. So I was the 4th, but the only one for this year.
Well done.
Thank you.
Oh, press the button. Press the button. Wait.
Yeah.
Big round of applause for you, Callie.
Oh, thanks. So then, Jay says, all right, guys, 5 minutes till awards. So I kind of soak up my time in that chair, and then he starts talking. So we get up and we walk over to listen to him, and, he's doing the awards for the men. And I just look at my crew and I'm like, I gotta sit down. I'm not okay.
Oh, no.
My blood sugar had just dropped so low from not being able to eat. I was in a little bit of trouble. So I had to sit down, and, I grabbed some ginger ale, some peanut M&Ms, trying to bring myself back to life. And they're like, do you want us to carry you to Jay when he announces your name? I'm like, no, I got to limp over there, and I limped over there.
I did see the video, Callie.
Yeah.
The fact that you were still walking, I am so impressed. Like, after 100 miles, I would be like crawling, army crawl. But that would be the best I could do. So well done. Well done.
Tough. And then I had to stand there as he announced all the 100 milers, which was amazing. This was obviously their biggest year for 100 milers. There were so many guys that went super far this year. Mm-hmm. So stood there for a while. And after that, I got right back in that chair. And then to get to the car, my husband actually threw me over his shoulder and carried me to the car.
What a guy.
I was done using my legs. Yeah.
What a guy. So do we think, I think we already got it from Katie. Katie wants to return one day. What about you, Callie? You think you're going to come back?
I don't know. I told myself I'll come back as a volunteer. I'll come back and pay someone. Like, what else do I want to achieve that I haven't? Or, what would I do differently? Like, I need to find a real purpose for wanting to do that again, beyond just being part of the family and being there,
Well,
that's fair.
So I'm not 100% sure, but I want to be involved somehow. So even if I don't run it, I will definitely be there to support people and, see if they could use me as a volunteer or something like that.
Well, I'll tell you, Erika and I were talking to the volunteers after the crew that we love, that she's grown to love in the last 2 years of this race. And we told them we will be back next year. If we're not running, we'll be volunteering along your side. Mm-hmm. So
in some capacity, we want to do the same thing.
Yeah, we think the event is that awesome and that special that we want to be back next year, whether we're running or not. We want to be a part of it. So that's awesome to hear the same from you.
My last lap, I was hugging the guys that were out there halfway, and then the guys that let you cross the grassy area and stop the cars. Mm-hmm. We stopped the cars for hugs. Like, I mean, they were that important to us as runners, I mean, we couldn't do that without all of them.
Seriously.
Well, that's awesome. Well, congratulations to both of you. I want to give you both a chance to do any more last shout outs. Katie, I know you have something that you're passionate about, and we want to get you back one day. We want to get you both back one day and learn about you, who you are, where you're from, and what got you into running, and any awesome running stories you have, whether it is a we know about this victory, but, anything that's funny or inspiring or, one of the things we talk about is the code brown that Erika had 3 of, spoiler alert. But Katie, let's go first. I know you have something that you're very passionate about that you do here around the Boston area.
Yep. So one thing that I'm incredibly passionate about is the Children's Tumor Foundation. They are a foundation that raises awareness and money for adults and children that live with neurofibromatosis, which is a condition where tumors grow anywhere on the body where there is a nerve. So that can affect hearing, eyesight, movement in any shape or form. It is something that I have. It is something that I unfortunately did give to my youngest daughter, but she's doing great. I do a complete 180. I do a 1 mile run with the Cupid's Undie Run. It is a run where all of the money raised by every single runner who does it across the country goes directly to the Children's Tumor Foundation to hopefully find a cure one day. So every February, right around Valentine's Day, I strip down to nothing but my undies and run around Fenway Park. That is just where the Boston event takes place. And it's about probably 0.8 of a mile. So it's quite short, and you walk most of it because people stop and take pictures and whatnot. But it is by far the most satisfying run that I do all year long. So it's just so important. I probably cry the entire time. They throw a huge party before and after, and just a bucket of tears because not only am I affected, but I know these people are all there just to raise money. And yeah, some people just want to get half naked and run around, but it's an incredible cause and I love it. And every year I've raised between $3,000 and $5,000, which is a huge amount, like for people just to give so generously for, like I said, just a 1 mile run. So, I did a 50 miler last October, and this 1 mile run still surpasses any race that I could ever do. And the past few years I've had to do it virtually due to COVID. So I'm really hoping to be back there and maybe even fly to Phoenix because they don't all occur like on the same date. So maybe even go out to Phoenix. The little boy that I run for, including myself, there's a girl out there that runs for him each and every single year too. So I might go out and join her team.
That's wonderful.
Which would be amazing. So yeah, it's an incredible cause and such a fun run. And it's a fun time to be around any of the cities that actually do the race. So that is my huge shout out. It's an awesome time. And again, just something near and dear to my heart.
So what do you say? A couple of weeks before the Endies run in Boston, we have you back. We get to know you a little more, and we pump the tires for your fundraising there.
I would absolutely love it. So that would be amazing.
That would be our pleasure, really. That is such a worthy cause. So anything we can do to help you out, we are all for.
I am all in. I would absolutely love it.
I just have one more question, and this is an easy one for the two of you. We have been compiling a Spotify playlist of favorite running songs to get you pumped up. If you could add a song to our playlist, which one would you pick?
My Spotify playlist, I have a few, but I have one that I created for my 50 miler last year that I didn't end up listening to because I met 2 girls and we talked the entire time while we ran. But it's 6.5 hours long, and I'm embarrassed to say that it's compiled of a lot of songs that my girls like, because I listen to them all the time. So it's got a lot of things from, if you've seen the movie Sing 1 and Sing 2, a lot of the songs on my playlist are from those movies. But there's a song by Ben Rector. It's called Drive. And I have put it on every playlist for every race I've done, whether it was Boston or Chicago, like any big race that I've ever done. I've put it on there, and it pumps me up each and every single time. So, and my girls know it as Mommy's running song. So if it comes on, they're like, yeah, Mommy's running song. So
perfect. How about you, Callie?
So I also have some sing to songs on my playlist, but I tend not to really listen to music on trail runs much. A lot of times, if at all, I'll have like one earbud in. So for this race, I did do the one earbud thing for I think most of the second half. I felt like I needed some distraction from what was happening. But I think a song I would add, it was just a random song I found one day, I think on Instagram, trying to find a song for like a story I was posting. And it's called Running by, I believe their name is Arizona. And it's a pretty chill song, but I have it on all of my running playlists because even though it's pretty kind of chill, not like super pump you up, it still kind of pumps me up for some reason because it's just about running.
Awesome.
Running. I mean, I don't know if that was what it was written for, but that's the main word used in it. So I take it that way.
That is totally fine. Whatever gets you going. That's all we wanted to know. So I will definitely look those up and put them on our playlist, and we'll share them with the listeners.
Well, thanks so much for coming on. I know this was short notice for both of you. I know Callie, I just asked today. I know Katie, I said to Katie when we saw her, because we camped next to you, Katie, actually, was hey,
perfect.
Katie, since you're here and you're doing this, you know you're our next guest on the podcast, and she was so excited. But I really appreciate you both coming on late notice, and we figured this out. We got a good time, so we can get this out soon. I hope to have you both back. Katie, I know we'll get you back. Callie, I hope we can get you back in a few months and get to know you a little more.
Oh, I'd be happy to. I was like honored you guys even asked me to be part of it. I don't know if my brain's fully functioning yet from the glycogen depletion here, but hopefully I have something useful to say. And it's been fun, and I appreciate you guys even wanting to hear anything I have to say about my time there.
Well, we'll give your brain some time to, re-energize. And, when we get you back, hopefully we can get to know you well and get some stories. And hopefully this isn't the last time we ever talk or see each other. I think we'll all see each other next year at Anchordown in one way or the other.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on.
I really appreciate you guys. And Callie, I'm probably going to have to pick your brain soon because I do have a 24-hour coming up in November. So whatever tips you got for me, I'll hit you up later. But Callie, Katie, I am in awe of you guys. Your energy and spirit is just so high, and this means so much to us that you would come on and talk to us. Let's give a big hand to Callie and Katie.
A big hand. Here we go.
Yeah.
We don't use that enough.
They are just so cool, and I am just so envious and in awe of them. They are fantastic people, and I am so happy to call them my peers.
I'm so happy to finally meet Katie and to see Callie
right?
again. Yeah. It was funny because I was telling Katie, you're like a little running influencer in the area.
She really is.
Pretty popular on the gram, just like Rachel and yourself there. And I'm glad we got to meet her. Mike, if you're listening, thanks for coming, man. You gave me someone to hang out with and talk to.
And I appreciate all the high fives and stuff, the encouragement. It meant a lot. It really did.
We got a couple high fives perfectly in those reels we made.
Yeah, you made me redo them because you're like, no, look at the elbows.
Well, yeah.
I'm tired.
If we don't make good hand contact, it's bad luck. So you got to redo it.
Sweaty.
You did. You did. Yeah. One time you high fived and all just like the sweat on your arm and forearm just spat in my face.
And I ran away saying, sorry, not sorry.
And I don't think I had anything to wipe it up right there. But all right. I think that might have been just after it rained or something too. That was
probably.
Nice,
who knows?
How did your race go? We just heard about Katie and Callie's. How did your race go?
My race, I don't think it could have gone any better. We've talked about the weather. That played a huge part. I was just feeling really good. I did not get to train for this as well as I would have liked because I was coming off of that hip injury. I've been talking about going to Connor over at Nashua PT, and he's been helping me out with some strength training.
What do you call yourself, an IPOS?
Yeah, an injured piece of shit. But the entire race, I had zero pain. And I was like, the running gods are smiling upon me this evening. And seriously, everything just went according to plan.
Well, I would beg to differ.
Why?
There was a couple times that you came into the start-finish line area and you were not feeling that well.
Oh, well, okay. I was having a little bit of digestional issues because, so I like to drink Scratch Lab Super Fuel, and I put that in a handheld, and I drank that like within I think the first like 3 laps, like, it was pretty fast, but it was so sugary that I was starting to get like a little sick to my stomach, and it was hard to eat real food.
Because then what did you eat to go with the Scratch Labs?
What did I have, a bagel? I don't even remember.
Oh, come on. Munchkins.
Oh, Erika runs on Dunkin'. Erika ran on garbage because oh my God. I was not feeling good after. I had 4 Munchkins and I was like, oh, if I have any more, I'm going to barf. So luckily it didn't puke, but I needed something to counteract all that sweetness. So I made my way over to the aid station and I found myself some pickle juice. And I swear to God, that like was perfect. It like reset my taste buds and just, yeah.
I want to say I was making you drink just water too.
No, that was a smart move, and I really appreciate you for that, because if I kept drinking that super fuel, I think I would have thrown up.
And I did that, and then after I started telling you, you need to drink water. No more of this mixed stuff. You need to have like a 1-to-1 or even a 2-to-1 ratio of water, 2 waters, 1 whatever you're going to drink, whether it's a Powerade or a mix Scratch Labs. I started telling Katie the same thing. Every time Katie came in, I said, go grab a water from the aid station. Don't drink yours. Drink theirs. It's free water. Don't waste yours.
Yep.
And then she started to drink more and more and more water. And then she started telling me I was amazing and awesome. And I'm like, oh, thank you. You know, your husband's right here. Tell him he's great too.
Yeah, it definitely helped because, and what they were trying to do, they were trying to work their way towards going cupless. So I just had them keep topping off the water in my handheld. I would do it at
they would do that.
Yeah, they would take just the jug of water and refill it. So I would not waste the cups, and I felt a little bit more environmentally friendly that way.
Go green, good for you, Erika.
But yeah, once I found the pickle juice, and I even took some pickles on the run with me. Like I had a cup of pickles that I carried with me.
That was fun. You were like this happy little go-getter.
I'm
with
telling
the pickles.
you, it was like a reset. It was perfect.
I remember when you were looking around the first time you found the pickles, and they had gummies and chips and M&Ms, pretzels, and then all of a sudden, just to your right, you're like, oh, pickles.
It was great. So that kind of helped reset me, but just the mixture of all the sugar and stuff. I did have some stomach issues, but luckily they had a set of porta potties after the trail portion.
Well, that was late. We can get.
Well, that was those were the I guess code brown incidents I had. Luckily they were not in my pants.
But that was like super late in the race.
Yeah, it was laps like 13 because you were with me. It was laps like 13, 14 or 14, 15.
No, it was later. This was like at 6 a.m. We'll get into. Well, anyways.
They were early.
But I beg to differ. They were early in the morning.
Yes.
Anyways.
2 a.m., something like that.
Anyways, let's talk about let's talk about the nightfall. You know, before I was able to join you out there, how were you feeling?
I was feeling good. Those first couple of laps, I kind of pushed it a little bit because I wanted to see how many laps I could get done before it got dark, before it would be a little bit treacherous to get through the trail. But I made it through 3 laps and it was perfect. And that's when I saw you for like the sunset.
Well, you saw me. I went to the other side of the course just to see the sunset, show Mike a little bit of where they're going to run.
Yep.
And then I said, I'll be back at the start-finish line around your beginning of lap 4.
Yep.
And then I was there for pretty much the rest of it. You would tell me, I need this or I need that. And I would go up to the tent, grab it, come back, cheer on everyone. It was great because I would get to pretty much you, Katie, and Callie were all about 8 minutes apart. And so you would pass, then Katie would pass, and Callie would pass, not necessarily in that order.
Yeah.
And I would get to see and cheer on, and then I would get to talk to others, and I would have about 10 minutes outside of cheering the 3 of you on to go get whatever you needed, get some food for me, and I did not eat enough. And then,
yeah, you didn't either.
And then come back and refuel you. It was a ton of fun. So around 1 o'clock, 6 hours into the race, the 6-hour competitors finished, and then I was allowed to join you and be your pacer. At that point, you had completed 1 more lap
than I did the previous year.
Right.
Yep.
And you were feeling good.
That just goes to show you how much better I performed because the weather was that much better. I swear it was that.
You didn't need me. You were like, dude, go to bed. Where last year you were like, I need you to get me to 16 and then I'm fine. For this year, you're like, dude, go to bed. You have to drive us home in the morning.
Well, plus you said you wanted to join for the last laps. And I was like, you're going to get 2 hours of sleep.
Well, I was slightly worried because last year I thought you had it. And at the end, you didn't get it. And I wasn't there to push you. You had Shauna, who was pregnant at the time, very newly pregnant. And in fact, just that day told us she was pregnant. She walked with you. And I felt like I need to be there just in case I need to help you get that one more lap.
Well, you did. But so we'll get into that. But overall, I just wanted to beat last year. So last year, I did 19 laps and 46.55 miles. So I just knew, I could tell from like my watch, I was like, I'm going to hit this. I think I'm good. And I did hit 19 laps right before you started to join me at 5 a.m. So I had 2 hours to do at least 2 more laps, because 2 more laps would get me over 50 miles.
So I joined you at 1. I joined you at 1 in the morning. I ran 2 laps.
Yep.
And then I went and took a nap.
Yep.
I got maybe an hour and a half. And then I joined you. I woke up and apparently I just missed you at the start finish line.
Yep,
So
I was just on the trail.
I actually kind of walked, when I knew you were coming close, I kind of walked and met you with maybe a quarter mile to the line and joined you there.
Yep.
And at that point, you just flew through the aid stations, and your cheerleaders at the aid station were like, "Go, Erika." And I'm like, "Do you want to stop and get some pickles?" Or you just kept going.
I wanted to ride the adrenaline high because I knew I had it. I just knew I had the 50 miles, and that was my goal. I had to do it. So the faster I did it, the happier I was going to be, the sooner I'd be done. But we finished that 21st lap for like 51. I think it was like 51 point something miles. I had 40.
22nd lap, I think.
No, I
Sorry,
finished.
I'm stepping on your toes here.
So I finished that 21st lap and I had 48 minutes to spare.
That's right.
So I had to go out for one more lap for Tony. You'll learn about him if you watch that video that you were talking about. But Tony unfortunately passed away, and he ran the 6-hour race last year. And so this race was dedicated to Tony, and doing one more lap was in his honor. So I was like, I can do this. I can do one more lap for Tony. And I did. I came in with 11 minutes to spare before that 12-hour countdown.
Now, I remember talking you through that last lap. All right.
I did need some motivation. I was very tired. My back hurt just being on my feet for so long.
We were positive that we had the time to do it, but we didn't have much of a buffer.
No.
So when we passed the start-finish line and you were like, "I'm going to walk the woods," I go, "We're going to run to the turn."
Yep.
And that saves a minute. I'm like, that will save us a minute. Run to the turn.
That minute was key. I mean, I felt fine, and we did walk. I more power hiked. I feel confident saying I power hiked that, because I was trying to just make sure I would come in under the wire. So we got through the woods, we power hiked, and then we did some run walk intervals, which you helped me out with. And
I made you go minute on, minute off.
Yep.
When we hit the pavement, minute on, minute off.
Yep, and it
I said,
helped so much.
If we do that, we got it. And I think you crossed the finish line with 7 minutes to spare.
It was 11.
11
minutes. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was on my feet for a total. I really didn't sit down that whole time.
You made one pit stop, you said.
Oh, unless you count a porta potty too. Well,
No, I'm talking about at the tent.
Yes, but I didn't sit. I just had to grab a painkiller, and I needed an Aleve, so I took one.
Where last year you made like
I
at
sat
least
down.
6.
I was on the picnic table. Yeah. But this race honestly went so much better than I could have imagined. So I ended with 53.9 miles, which is my new personal record. Thank you very much.
That's the most we've ever used that applause feature on this podcast in this episode. I think that's the third time.
I even placed better than I did last year. Last year, I was the second female, but I was 7th overall. But this year, although I was the third female, I was 4th overall. 3 females were in the top 4.
Not a big deal.
And
go girls.
There's a woman named Corinne, I believe her name was, who swept the whole thing. She beat all the dudes. She came in first. And then I took the Women's Open, which is a female under 39 award.
Nice job.
So I'm going to display that beautiful award.
And I believe right above that award is your trophy from last year.
Yeah.
And you're like, this is my first ever trophy.
Yep. So now I've got another well-earned award that I'm very, very proud of. And I didn't tell you. So on Instagram, I reached out to Hannah because she she was saying that she took one home also, like one of her own awards that she created.
yeah.
And I just sent her a message saying that I really appreciate her taking the time to make these awards. And I knew that she did it. And that was my goal, that I wanted one. And she was like, oh, I wasn't sure if people were going to want that or a trophy. And I was like,
No,
this
that's-
was the most beautiful thing. And I really appreciate this.
It's so much cooler than a trophy.
And it lit a fire under my butt to keep me going.
There was a point in the race that you said, I just want the trophy. It's so cool.
I did. Like, it was literally like one of the driving factors.
So
for
I
this
know
race.
I know you're going to say this is crazy or whatever, and you really don't want to do it lately. You've been saying I can't imagine myself doing it. But speaking of cool trophies or cool like things to get when you accomplish something amazing, I think you got to go for the buckle.
So I have some decisions to make. I did qualify. So I think 21 laps would qualify me for the 24-hour race, and I did 22. But I need to see how Hamster Wheel is going to go. And the registration for Anchordown opens, I think, on New Year's Day. So I have some time to see how that 24-hour race goes. But it's just so much more tough to do Anchordown. It's not just the trail, it's the summer, there's so many factors. And Hannah was actually talking to me about it. She's like, it's a different game. You got to play the long game. And
Well, I think we need to talk to Hannah about it on here.
we should get her because
Hannah?
she,
Open invitation to the podcast.
seriously though, because she was one of the only other females, like Callie had mentioned that there are 4 females who have gotten past 100 miles and Hannah's one of them.
Yeah,
So
I saw that.
yeah, it's incredible. But this race was just out of this world. I had a great time. Things went very well. And I'm just very, very happy.
Well, great job. Thank you for bringing me again.
Well, thank you for coming because you played a huge part in this too. Like, you were excellent Sherpa support system crew.
And now,
Couldn't have done it without you.
and now I know how to make reels.
Oh my God.
How
you
epic was
surprised
that?
me with those and I laughed. The first one was awesome. It just like the whole highlight reel. But then the second one that you sent me, I laughed. I was deliriously tired because I got like a 3-hour nap on Saturday, and this was Saturday night that you sent it. And oh my God, I laughed and laughed. It was great.
Well, my favorite part of all the reels, besides you, I mean, the second one was great. I was so happy when I made it.
Yeah.
But the first one, it's only 30 seconds long, and it was great because I was able to add multiple clips. And the second to last clip of you walking to the aid station, and there's Juice Box Guy puts the juice box on the table, and you got the fist pump. So let me just go back real quick.
Mm-hmm.
When we started this podcast a year ago, we didn't know what we were doing. We all sat around a table with one microphone. There was 4 of us. Now there's 2. And now we have good microphones. We talked about Juice Box Guy, and we were bummed that we left the race and didn't know who he was. And we were just like, well, maybe he'll be there next year.
Come to find out, he was. His name is Zach, and I'm just so happy. So, like I mentioned earlier, Ainsley, Zach, and Tammy hooked me up. They were just so kind to me, and they were the ones cheering me on every lap. And that celebratory juice box at the end was better than a beer. I swear to God.
She was so happy that you were there when I took my nap and she did those 5 laps. Like, you must have really been cheering her on and really motivating her, because when I got up at 5 and ran the last 2 with her, she was freaking rolling, man. And it was because of the 3 of you. And she kept talking about the 3 of you. And then at one point, Ainsley sent her an Instagram friend request, and you pulled it up and you go, oh my God, she's a marine biologist and she's so perfect.
Do I really sound like that?
You did. You were tired and kind of like just, you were like, she's so amazing and she's a marine biologist.
And you know what? That whole time it was her birthday and I didn't know it.
It was her
until
birthday?
Literally.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, it was her birthday the other day. So big happy birthday to you, Ainsley. You are awesome. So I hope you had a great day. But yeah, I was just like so excited. I'm like, we have so much in common.
So I know Ainsley and Zach and Tammy, I hope you're listening. Promise me you'll be there next year, and we promise we'll be back next year in one way or the other. Mm-hmm. We'll either be by your side volunteering, or we'll be out there on the course. And you'll be, again, pushing Erika along as she does the 24 hours and drives for 100 miles. How awesome. Come on, Erika. Give me your commitment right now.
I can't
do it on the pod.
I
No
cannot
pressure.
commit. Oh, no pressure.
No
but
pressure.
do it on the pod. No, I'm not committing right now. I need to play this smart, okay? But you guys will be the first to know if I do decide to go that far.
Well, we'll see how Hamster Wheel goes in
I gotta
November.
see about Hamster Wheel.
We'll have the camper there too. I'm excited about that.
You can use the new. We didn't tell them.
Let's do it. Tell them.
So at Hamster Wheel, you can display the beautiful new On the Runs banner that Eric had made. He totally surprised me with it the other day, and it was the most perfect thing I could have ever imagined. I was talking about it, and I was like, we should really have like a poster board or something, and I was willing to make it. And he's like, no, I got it covered. And then he hands me this big, like, skinny tube, and he's like, go ahead, take this. It's Adeline made it. And I was like, Adeline made this, and I pull it out, and I'm like, this isn't something Adeline made. It is a gorgeous banner, and I love it.
You know what else was fun was when I recorded the video, and we'll post that video on the gram. You hear in the background someone being like, oh my God, yes. It was Katie. Because she was right behind me watching you do it. And she was like, this is awesome.
I was honestly floored. It was so
And your reaction was just like, oh my God.
Because I was not expecting it whatsoever.
All right, we're at Anchordown, and I got Erika a little surprise.
There you go. Knock somebody out with this.
Let's open it up. Let's see it.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Awesome.
That's You said Adeline made this?
I was lying. I was tricking you.
Fantastic. Welcome to Anchordown headquarters. That was just such an amazing thing. I was so surprised.
Let's talk about one more amazing thing that happened. What am I doing right now?
All right. You are sporting my spare pair of Electro Dino Carnival sunglasses from Gooder.
I don't think they're yours anymore.
No, they're not mine. I gave them to you. But you had sent a video to...
Well, wait. Back up.
Okay.
I texted you when I went to work in the morning, and I said, I forgot my sunglasses. Grab me a pair of your Gooders.
Mm-hmm. One of my 40 plus pairs, I swear, of sunglasses from Gooder. And I was just thinking, I know the perfect pair that I need to bring for you.
So I have this, I'm a little bit of a fanboy about a guy named Ryan Van Duzer. Mm-hmm. Ryan, you guys have heard about Ryan before on the podcast, but I'm lucky enough. I would call him a friend. I've met him before. I've grabbed dinner with him. I've communicated with him multiple times, and he's a follower On the Runs.
Excellent.
So when you brought me these Gooders, so let's explain. These are the Amelia Boone edition Gooders. Mm-hmm. Okay, Amelia Boone is also dating Ryan Van Duzer. Mm-hmm. So I sent a little video out to Ryan, and I don't have that to share, but I basically say, hey, Ryan, my girl Erika here is doing a ultra marathon, and I forgot my sunglasses. I'm her crew.
So I brought him the perfect pair.
And I put them on the video. And so we got a response from Duzer, and it was about the second lap of your race. And just to give a little context, the little image preview shows a picture of a smiling Amelia Boone wearing some yellow Gooders, which are not the same ones I'm wearing, but they're yellow Gooders. Mm-hmm. And this is what happened when I played the video for you.
Hey, those aren't the right glasses.
Oh, I'm wearing the wrong glasses.
What are you doing? How's it going, buddy? Just got your message. Thanks for thinking of us. And tell your friend good luck.
Yeah.
Cheering you
absolutely.
on. Have fun crewing. It's good. And yeah, I'll wear my Amelia Boones later today.
Mm-hmm. Can I just say thank you, guys? Thank you, Ryan and Amelia, for cheering me on. That was really awesome.
Erika was floored for quite a while. She goes, I can't believe these people actually sent me a message.
Well, they sent you the message, but that was really, really nice of them to wish me good luck.
So
I swear it helped.
Oh man, it did help. And I was so floored. And I was with Mike, and I didn't open the video because I told Mike, Katie's husband, I don't think I can save it. So I'm going to wait. And so when you watched it for the first time. I was watching for the first time. And then I was floored that I was able to save the video. I was like, this is amazing. I can save it. So that's cool. And now I got these Amelia Boone Gooders. So Ryan wears these same Gooders in all his videos now because, of course,
That's
of Amelia
my
Boone.
favorite pair. That's my backup pair.
So you have two of the Amelia Boones.
Well, yes. The first pair I have was my very first pair of Gooders. And unfortunately, I kind of ruined them from running because condensation and sweat got in between the layers of the lenses. So the lenses are a little messed up. But, I mean, they're still fine.
Well, it was so cool to have them kind of be part of the whole weekend for us there.
It was definitely a high point.
Yeah. And so thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Amelia. Ryan is going to run in the Leadville 100 in a couple days, maybe a couple weeks.
So here's a good luck to you because that is an intense race, but I know you were going to crush it. So go get it, Ryan.
I went back yesterday and I watched Ryan's YouTube video from last year. And that is, by the way, when he met Amelia Boone.
Aww,
So I wanted to see the moment they met. So they do state, we met once before for like 5 minutes, but she was his pacer.
That's awesome.
And she volunteered or somehow said, I'll be your pacer.
All right, you got to send me that video later.
It was great. And so you kind of meet Amelia in that video from a year ago as they're running. And then, a few months of talking and everything, they start dating. It's like, and now you watch all their videos together. They just rode Ragbri, which is on my bucket list of things to do. It's a biking thing. You bike across the state of Iowa.
Oh.
Every July for 7 days. It's this, like the
I
largest
feel like you told me about that.
Of course. Yeah, I probably have.
Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, Ryan, and thank you, Amelia. Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Callie. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, Zach, and
Ainsley and Tammy.
And everybody.
Shout out to Kathy, by the way, the new friend that I made from the 24-hour race who brought me across the finish line at my 22nd lap because she was talking to me and she was hyping me up. And thank you, Kathy. You were awesome.
Shout out to the other Erika.
Yes.
Who got confused when I kept cheering, go, Erika, go. And she's right in front of you. And she's like, do I know this man?
Yep. So Erika and Kathleen, I believe. And I met like a Chris who brought me through a couple laps.
That Erika, by the way, congratulations. She won the 6 hours.
She won the 6 hour, yes.
How about, was it Julie?
Julia.
Yep.
Julia's awesome. She did the 6 hour this year.
And her friend's name?
Melissa.
So we met Julie and Melissa last year when they did the 24 hours.
It really is a homecoming, I swear. It's family.
That's right. I really hope next year I get to meet Chris, Paul, Lori, Hannah. Maybe I'll get to talk to you before. Man.
We just have to get there earlier, man. Take the day off.
Yeah, well, if you do the 24 hours I told you, we will be there a full day ahead of time.
Well, we'll work it out. We will.
And I'll be a year into my new job. I'll be able to get the time off.
All right.
So, hey, what a great week. And I think it's a good time to end the episode.
Yes.
I want to preview our next episode. We already talked to her.
Yes, Michaela.
We got Michaela. She's got some great stories. If you came to this episode hoping, oh, they have Code Browns, well,
next episode's going to be way better.
We got a couple Code Browns for you. Michaela is a epic ultra runner. She's out of West Virginia. We already talked to her. She gives us a couple do's and don'ts for ultra running.
I dare you to say your last name. Do it.
I don't even Shremshock. Michaela Shremshock. It's the 2 S. I can't even do it. I mean, I didn't even go with Katie's last name or Callie's last name. I'm just going to avoid last names.
That's fine.
All right. If you're new or if you're not new, but you don't follow us, you can follow us on Instagram. We are at On The Runs. We now have a TikTok. And I officially...
That we have not used yet, have we?
We have now.
Oh, I don't have TikTok myself.
I put the video up. That's also. But guess what else we have?
Twitter.
We got a Twitter, and we are at On The Runs _ because some dude from like 2013 decided to make his Twitter called On The Runs, and he hasn't posted anything in like 9 years.
Oh, bummer.
But it's fine. We're only on Twitter. Don't worry about the Twitter. We're only on there to
follow people mostly.
Exactly,
right? Yeah.
and see the news. So thank you so much. Facebook as well. Email ontherunspod@gmail.com. That's my spiel there. So I think, Erika, you have one more thing to say.
Oh, yeah. Be like me, because I'm actually doing it this time. And don't forget to stretch.
I get a text when we're leaving from my mom and says, I know Katie.
What?
Yeah, my mom used to work with you at Pollard, Janice Knutnen.
No freaking way.
Yeah.